Hey Conquer Tribe, wanted to make a video about something I've been really working on with a lot of the coaching staff for O'Hare CrossFit, for Conquer, for anyone that I really work with is your ability to have high emotional or high conflict or possible high conflict or highly emotional conversations, I would say is a major indicator of your ability and leadership and really where you're at as far as success. I think the people that can have these conversations as frequently as they are needed and really address them and lean into them and get a positive outcome are more than likely the people that are going to get farther and farther in their career or in their game or even in their life and their relationships. So I think being able to have these conversations is so important. But for most of us, especially for myself, high intensity or high possible conflict conversations, I never was really taught how to be able to do this in a constructive manner. It usually just resulted in me coming to the table with some sort of attack, and if the person didn't succumb to what I was wanting them to do, the conversation really fell apart from there. And so that was most of my teaching, and I want to talk about a system that I use for these conversations. So first thing that I do is I read a book called Crucial Conversations. I recommend anyone reading that book, but I follow a step process to have these conversations. So the first thing I need to do when I'm having any sort of potential high emotional or high conflict conversation is I let the person know that I care about them, and that's a way to disarm them. So I say, for example, Jason, before we get started today, I want to let you know that I really care about you, that our relationship really means a lot to me, and I'm so grateful to be your friend. Okay. Step number 2 is you let them know the intention for the conversation. The intention for this conversation, Jason, is I hope that we have a resolution or on the same page moving forward about how your training is going to go from now through the CrossFit Open season. Something like that. Then step 3 is when you address the challenge that they've been having. And when you address it, when you say it, you don't say it as like an attack. You state it as an observation. So, Jason, when we first started working here, you mentioned that qualifying for Wodapalooza is something really, really important for you. When we're doing these qualifiers, whatever, in the November months, it's really crucial for us to be consistent with our training. I've noticed that you haven't really been consistent with your training lately. I've seen you miss a couple days here, and I want to have this conversation. I want to get to understand what is really happening with you, instead of just saying you've been missing your training or blah, blah, blah. And then step 4 would be to go through that and work with them side by side and have a resolution. So step number 1, you care about them. Let them know that you care about them. It disarms the conversation immediately, because for most of us, the first thing we think of when someone is having a high intensity or potential conflicting conversation with us is that they do not care about us or they are against us. That is the first thing that people think. It's from a very young age. A lot of people think this from a young age when their parents used to yell at them, "Mommy doesn't love me anymore, Daddy doesn't love me anymore." So you might be dealing with a lot of psychological blocks. So you state that first. Number 2 is the intention. You let people know where you really want to go. Some people may not understand that this is where you want to go. They may think you're just there to argue, believe it or not. The next is addressing the concerns, but from an observation, not from an evaluation. You're not telling them, you're not giving them your opinion. Don't say you've been slacking. You don't know that, but just say we've seen you not being able to train these days. Like, you state facts that are unarguable by both sides, and then you get their piece in there, and you can really work these conversations. This is such an important part of coaching, guys, and leadership, and just being a really great human. Really, I really believe that a great, happy human, really, we're going to bump up against these things, and our ability to have the systems and skills to be able to handle them is so important. Hope you guys get a lot from this video. If you have questions, please email us. I'm happy to help you with this stuff. I just hope you guys are becoming the best coaches you could be, because people need us now more than ever. Thank you.